Pep Talk UK, Pro Beez out here at the Boxer Gym, Northwest London, and I'm delighted to be joined by an old friend. We feel like we're reunited right now. Delighted to be joined by experienced, well-renowned trainer, Mr. Don Charles. How are you?
I am very well, brother. Long time.
So, I think, you know, since I last came here, things have changed. I think the whole Derek Chisora, Don Charles, Haymaker relationship had just sort of got into full swing. Pre the Whyte fight at the O2, and since then, obviously, you didn't get the result that you wanted. But Chisora has gone to pastures new now. He's been on a bit of a winning streak. I mean, spectacular victory over Artur Szpilka at the O2. I mean, what did you make of that spectacular performance by Del Boy, War Chisora?
Yeah, War Chisora, exactly. No, listen, what a brilliant stoppage, you know. Considering the guy was a southpaw, and the stoppage was, like I said, it's typical trademark Chisora over right hand, and don't let Chisora get you on the ropes because you're finished. And you know, look, fantastic stoppage. Big over right hand, and I think the guy was actually out on his feet prior to the shot that actually took him out, and unfortunately for the guy, for Szpilka, that's Derek's trademark shot, and came home to roost.
So what have you made of this whole resurgence from War Chisora, Derek Chisora? It's more or less, some people are saying he's had a new leash of life. I mean, have you seen anything different from what you knew of Derek Chisora?
Listen, I know Derek more than Derek knows Derek. So when it comes to, listen, sometimes we make changes. Changes could be for the worst or for the best. Only time will tell that. And he's my son, regardless of whether he's not with me. Like I always said, he's my first son in boxing, and he's also a dear friend. Although we're not working together, but if it's to go and become, I've always said it in the past, you can go and check my previous interviews, whether it's with me or without me, that if that's what his destiny is, to go ahead and become a world champion, because I've always believed, and I still believe, that he has what it takes to be a world champion. He's just been very unfortunate all throughout his career. He's been matched quite hard earlier on in his career. Okay, a bit like what Whyte is going through at the moment with regards to, because he's been made to wait for his turn to have a shot at the world title. Meanwhile, he's having to take hard fights. Derek Chisora's career, all through Derek Chisora's career, he's always had hard fights. And I, for one, having been his trainer from day one, I will never write him off. Yeah, because you know, when you think Chisora is done, finished, he comes back and he pulls out such. I'm going to ask you a question. Does he look like a guy who people are saying he should, after the Whyte fight, that, he should retire? Is that it? People would love to write people off because that's a human psychology. They're quick to write people off. Only the person who's involved can write themselves off till he says it's time. And I've always said to him, if I believed, regardless of whether I'm working with him or not, if I believed that he should hang up, him being my first son in boxing, I'll be the first to say to him, son, hang your gloves up, okay? And you missed him, he was here literally 30 minutes ago, yeah, and that doesn't look like a washed up fighter to me, especially since he, not necessarily change trainers. Did he have to change trainers? No, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with myself on the coaching part. I rate myself. If nobody else rates me, I rate myself, Don Charles, as a trainer. His manager thought otherwise. For whatever reason that he needed a change, then fine. That's the manager's take, okay? Was it a brilliant move to join up with Hay in the first place? Yes, it was a fantastic career move to bring Mr. Hay, who's a fantastic salesman and fantastic ambassador for boxing in this country. So I could see the logic of teaming up with him, but I didn't know that involvement, which I commissioned, that would then spell me being ousted as a coach. It happens all the time. It happens in football. Yeah, new manager comes in, doesn't make the previous manager a bad coach, just means the management have got different ideas on what they would want the athlete to the direction they want him to be going, whether it's with the coaching personnels. Okay, so no, absolutely nothing wrong with myself and Derek. Like I said, he was here. Had you been 30 minutes earlier, you would have seen him. He performed really well against Spilka and got the stoppage, and he should get the fight that he's been chasing, which is the Parker fight, I believe. If that materializes, that's a fantastic matchup.
It's a hell of a fight. I mean, I was at the O2 with Dillian Whyte versus Rivas with Chisora and Spilka, and the fans, they're still in love with Will Chisora.
Of course, man, come on. Derek Chisora is a lovable rogue, if I may use the word rogue, in a nice way, not in an offensive way. But that's the British public. Initially they hate you, then they when they see you're of good, they will embrace you. You could go out right throughout the history of boxing in this country. Eubank was not a liked fighter when he played the baddie, and the whole country loves Eubank now. Do you know what I mean? So like I said, you can go right through the history of boxing in this country. Prince Nazim Ahmed, he was so brash when he was a fighter and stuff. Okay, eventually the British public embraced him and loved him. So, like I said, it's well documented.
You talk about being hated, then being loved, but in terms of Anthony Joshua, it seems like it's turned upside down. Loved
That's it.
by the British public, the darling of the British public in terms of the boxing fans, but now there's loads of criticism
Naturally.
about Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, naturally, but that's human race. That's the human race. Let me take the British public out of it for a minute. That's the human race. Yeah, in the sense that the same people, who will say that he's the greatest thing ever, are the first people to criticize it. You know what? Because people, human beings in general, a high percentage of us, of the population, hate success. They think they like it, they hate success, right? In anything we do in life, whether it's boxing or you work in an office, some days you're gonna have, the saying, have a bad day at the office. What is it that Anthony Joshua hasn't done and achieved in boxing? If that young man decided to hang his gloves up today, which he's not going to, what hasn't he achieved? I even said to him not so long ago during a conversation, if you start to evaluate what you've achieved, let me put time to it. 11 years ago when I first met him, I said, when you start to look and examine what you've achieved, if you dare be sad for one moment, I'm a God-fearing man, God will punish you. You should embrace, you should rejoice. If I told you 11 years ago that you were going to become the biggest thing in world boxing, who is it? What doors is it that hasn't opened for that young man in the last since 2012? Presidential doors, royal doors. He's walked. He's met the royals. He's met presidents of countries, head of states. The list is endless. What is it he hasn't done and achieved?
He met my favorite rapper, Meek Mill.
Like I said, in every walk of life, what is it? He's changed the sport. Boxing is thriving in this country. Boxing business, never mind just the professional side of it. Boxing in business, so many gyms, pocket hole gyms are opening left, right and center. Every child wants to be a boxer. Every child wants to do boxing. Every mother, every grandmother, every grandfather talks about boxing. Why? Anthony Joshua. So, like Jesus said when do you remember the story of Mary Magdalene? When she's a prostitute in the biblical story, she was a prostitute, and people were condemning her in public, trying to throw stones at her because of what she did for a living. And Jesus said, "For he who has not sinned, cast the next stone." Everybody obviously thought and held off from stoning the woman to death, right? So therefore, when I say sin, he hasn't sinned. He got beat by a better man on the night. And knowing the character and the person that I know in the name of Anthony Joshua, Yeah, he's an African man too, for that matter. Yeah, okay. The same determination that got him where he got is the same determination that's going to aid him to be able to go and recapture the belts that he surrendered to Ruiz. You know, destiny. You know, that's the way his story was written. Yeah, that's the way God wrote his story. Okay, if it's his destiny to go back and recapture those titles, no man can stop it.
What do you make of a lot of reports coming out that AJ reached out to Ismail Salas? There's been a lot of backlash from a lot of people in boxing saying AJ needs a new trainer, and being a trainer as you are yourself. I mean, how is it your fighter loses one fight and all of a sudden the fighter needs to change the trainer? I mean, the girl had it with Jimmy Mack.
Yeah. So basically, I'm not a hypocrite. Being a trainer as well, it so happens I'm a trainer. So when everyone's going on regarding AJ getting rid of his team, how many fights has he had now? 22?
22 fights.
Right. So the same team, right, with AJ got it right 21 times out of 22. Then suddenly his team are no good. Again, that's people hating. I'm a trainer, and I'm saying I'm not going to, but the message I sent to Joshua was, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your team. You might think, oh, what are you talking about? Yeah? What if I was advising him? What's needed here is to go and look at areas that he needs to improve. In football, for instance, I'm a football lover, that's why I support Tottenham Hotspur, right? In football, why do we have, you have a manager, right? The head coach. He has a defensive coach, someone different who's experienced a defending coach. Has a goalkeeping coach, has a strikers coach, he had a midfielders coach to coach every department. But guess what? The manager's still in charge, he oversees everything. So at the level Joshua is at, I believe what's needed within his team, yeah, is for them to employ, if they don't already have it, yeah, a defensive coach or a technical director, however you may dress it up. They use that in football as well, to be able to address areas that need improving on. And there's absolutely nothing, in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with the team, in my opinion. They got it right 21 times out of 22. In every walk of life, and in any job we do, or even if you're taking an examination at school and you got one wrong out of 10, I think that you're still gonna get A+. Am I wrong or right?
Fair point.
Yeah,
fair
it's point. A very, very fair point. People are quick to criticize, people are quick to condemn. Yeah, because those who haven't actually done it themselves, they're always the first to condemn. When you do it, and I've been at this end, receiving end, where we've lost fights. I get absolutely crucified on the internet. But guess what? I'm a human being. Of course it hurts. Of course it hurts. But guess what? Like I said earlier on, no man is fit to judge me. Only God can judge me, or AJ, or any person, an athlete, whether you're a footballer, cricketer, tennis player. You're living your dream, doing what you love doing, yeah? Those who criticize you, they're not happy with their lives. That's why they criticize. Yeah, go and do it yourself. Yeah, go and do it yourself. Then you start to understand, to leave people alone. They're living their dreams.
Just finally, before we conclude, I mean, obviously, the most trending story in boxing right now is the whole Dillian Whyte situation with the PEDs failing a drugs test. What do you make of the whole story, etc.? What's your opinion?
Like you said, the word stories, yeah? Till a man's proven guilty on all accounts, yeah? I'm not at liberty to comment on that subject, okay? Do I condemn anyone who takes substances to enhance their performances, to get an advantage? Of course I do, but I'm not at liberty to comment on that particular name you just mentioned to me.
Finally, Lomachenko will be touching down in London town end of August against Luke Campbell.
Yeah.
How do you see that one? Interesting fight.
Very interesting fight.
Two accomplished Olympians.
Yeah.
Lomachenko is though. He's some fighter, hell of a fighter. It's going to be a tall order for Luke Campbell, isn't it?
Says who?
Says the wider public.
Says the stats.
Says the stats.
Says the stats.
Says the long amateur record of Lomachenko.
Obviously, Lomachenko, unquestionably, pound for pound, he's one of my favorites after Canelo. Yeah, in the world of boxing today. Luke Campbell. Now, if it's his destiny to pull it off, I or any other man's not fit to judge to say otherwise. If it's his destiny to do the impossible, or what's deemed as the impossible, yeah, of course he's got a chance. He's got a very good chance. If it's his destiny to be crowned champion against, again,
unified,
a guy who's unquestionably one of the best pound for pound on the planet, right, in the world of boxing, right? And then, yeah, if it's his destiny, I'm a stronger believer in that. If it's his destiny to do it, the man he's fighting, if he were my fighter, you're fighting another guy who breathes oxygen, bleeds red blood. Yeah, we're all vulnerable. Every human being is vulnerable. Yeah, if it's Luke Campbell's day to do it, and if it's his destiny to do it, then he will do it. And if it's not his destiny to do it, that's my beliefs anyway.
He's got quite some reach advantage and height advantage.
Most definitely. I could break it all down boxing wise, but I'm just trying to round it all up for you. I could go into the technical side of it with the high advantage. He has his advantages, and he has Lomachenko has his own advantage. But in terms of size, there's a massive gap in golf in size. If it's to utilize his size, then yeah, you know, that will aid him to, like I said, if it's his destiny to win that fight, then no one can stop it.
So finally, just to conclude, big fight, end of August. Anthony Yarde he's bidding to become a world champion, taking on the man himself, Sergey Kovalev. I mean, how do you see that, Don?
Like I said previously to you, if you recall, during this interview, if it's a man's destiny to do something, yeah, only that man, and I happen to know his coach really well, Tunde Ajayi, Babatunde Ajayi, okay? Right. It's not well documented, but I have a history with Tunde, the coach, so I know Tunde's mindset. I really do know his mindset. The only problem I had, I'll say it publicly, the only problem I had with my people, which is quite disappointing because we had hours and hours and hours of talks. Me and Tunde from the same, when I say school, yeah, we have this, our mindset is very, very, very similar, yeah, determined, yeah, our backgrounds are very similar. So it reminds me very, very much of when Derek Chisora was, we were appointed to fight Vladimir Klitschko, okay? And people thought we were mad. People said, oh, we were mad. I remember a certain Mr. David Hay back then saying that Derek Chisora is a bum, we're gonna get mullered, we're gonna get knocked out. But guess what? We believed in ourselves back then to go and take that fight on. The fight never happened. And then David Hay jumped in and took the fight against Vladimir Klitschko. Right? We got to Germany, we did our training, we believed in ourselves. People said you couldn't do it. And the more nearer the time came, people actually started thinking, hang on a sec, they can actually do this. Yeah? Because that's human psychology. Yeah? So coming fast forward to the question you asked me regarding Yarde and Kovalev. Right. Statistics, paper talk. Based on what Kovalev have achieved in his life as a boxer career, and based compared to that of what Anthony Yarde, who's a mere novice compared to Kovalev, based on statistics, he shouldn't even be in the same ring or be mentioned as to where he's now gonna fight him. Yeah. Now, I'm not a hypocrite. The same way I believed with Derek Chisora when we first took the first Klitschko, Vladimir Klitschko. Derek went on to fight Vitaly. But Vladimir was it's not well documented people don't really speak about, but I'm speaking about it to you. Yeah? We went all the way to Germany, to Mannheim in Germany, to fight Vladimir Klitschko, and the fight was pulled 3 days prior to the actual event. The stadium was sold out. They boycotted Mission because they realized, the great late Emmanuel Stewart, God rest his soul, he realized that my guy, who's a mere novice back then, would have caused what they would have caused upset for them, not upset for us. They pulled it. Yeah, and this fight, if I remember right, this Kovalev and Yarde, has been mentioned a few times, and for whatever reason they keep aborting Mission. Yeah, they've now taken it to Russia, right? If it's Yarde's destination, if anyone can, he can. He has the ability, he's young, timing is everything. The timing, I believe, is probably right for such a, it's a fight. Take away all the achievements. I'm not disregarding Kovalev, what he's achieved, like I said, based on statistics, it shouldn't be in the same ring, Yarde shouldn't be in the same ring as him. But we're talking about now. There's a lot of factors that people overlook, but I don't overlook them. And Tunde, so calculated, Tunde, the coach, is so calculating that he wouldn't if he thought they didn't have a chance. No matter what, how small that chance people might give Yarde, it's still a chance. Yeah? He's got a chance to do it.
A lot of people look at the two fights he had with Andre Ward, Kovalev. The first fight, a lot of people...
Debatable, yeah.
Very debatable that Kovalev won that fight. And obviously the second fight, I think Kovalev was kind of exposed to the body. Tunde has actually had a conversation with John Davis Jackson, and he said, go to the body, man. You gotta go to the body. Are you of the same opinion?
Well, that's too obvious. But I think he'll go more than to the body. If you just go there looking for one thing, then you're playing into the opponent's hand, aren't you? Yeah, the opponent is well documented that, yeah, it'll be part of the plan, of course, but it won't be the only plan, I promise you. Youth, don't underestimate the youth in Anthony Yarde, and he's very athletic, okay? Like I said, I didn't actually finish what I was saying. There was a period where me and my brother, Tunde, we kind of, not seeing eye to eye. Why? Because they cross, there's a certain thing you don't do, there's do's and don'ts. I know it's business, but there's do's and don'ts. You could be Brian, you could be dating Miss World, yeah, because you're my guy. I will never look at your wife, even if she's Miss World. There's do's and don'ts. I was training Frank Leone prior to his retirement, yeah. There was loads of other titles that Yarde and Tunde could have chased. They wanted to chase the title that we have. Yeah? If the roles were reversed, I would say to my fighter, you know what, I have a certain relationship. Regardless of the business, I have a certain relationship with these people. Let's look for other titles. Come such time, because we're not going to hold on to that title forever. Come such time, they're no longer, that we will then go for that title. So that was my beef with Tunde. We've seen each other 2 weeks ago, like brothers do, we embraced, and all is good. Yeah, but going back to boxing, if anyone can, they can.
Are you going to do alliance in the camp for Anthony Yarde? Give him some good
Anthony,
luck?
Cast your mind back to when I first met you, approximately 8 years ago. What you've achieved, what people don't know, well, it's well documented that you didn't have an extensive amateur career. How I've seen the kid come through, right? I'm very, very touched. And it's pure love. Like I said, if anyone can, you and your trainer can. Go ahead, don't let no man that breathes oxygen tell you that you can't. I say you can.
Don Charles, always on point with the analysis, the stories.
You know I'm old school. Yeah.
My guy, Don Charles, thank you.
My pleasure, always.